Well, hello everybody and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Rotom Box. This is a deck I covered about 2 months ago, give or take. And obviously there's been a few changes for both the deck and obviously the way I've been building it. And well, I wanted to show it off because, well, Rotom Box is fun, what can I say. So as per usual, in the description below there's going to be usual links. There'll be the deck list, which is also available to copy in the description below. There's the games that we'll play and of course the outro and what I think of the deck. So the main new Rotom to the deck is of course the Psychic Rotom, which has a pretty good ability. Well, I say ability, it's an attack, but you get the point. It has a pretty good attack, that's why we're playing 2 copies of it. I'm arguably wanted to play 3, so we have a higher chance of starting with it. Heck, you could even play 4 of these little fellas. You may search your deck for any number of Pokemon that have Rotom in the name and put them onto your bench, then shuffle your deck. Obviously, you can play things like Buddy Puffin if you're going to play a high account of this Rotom, and then obviously you can go attach and then Roto Call for things like Wash and Heat Rotom, but you know, that's maybe something you can consider. I didn't consider it myself, but I thought, you know, I'd leave that part of the deck building up to you guys, as I usually do. Although it depends on the deck, I guess. Then obviously, like the others, it does have the Gadget Show attack, which of course hits for Psychic weakness. But of course, we want to be hitting everything for weakness where possible, so of course we have Lillie's Clefairy in here. The only type we don't cover in, well, the only types we don't cover in this deck is Metal, Fighting, and Dark, which is not bad, actually. I wouldn't mind a Dark type, but obviously we also lose the Gardevoir anyway, so, you know, that's just how it is, unfortunately. But obviously we do have Lillie's Clefairy in here to make sure we can hit dragons for weakness. Otherwise, we have 2 copies of the Mow, 2 copies of the Heat, 1 copy of Psyduck, because, well, we kind of need this guy. 1 copy of Wash. We only need 1 copy of Wash, because obviously fire-weak or water-weak Pokemon aren't too common in the meta right now. The major one is, of course, Mega Charizard X and also Y, but, you know, it's one of those that it's something you can obviously plan around, but at the moment, I don't think I need to. Other than that, of course, we are playing 2 copies of the Rotom EX with its multi-adapter ability, as is standard. And then we are playing 1 copy of the Lightning Rotom, because obviously Pidgeot is seeing a lot more play in decks overall. And of course, it's just another good single prizer to have. So, let's jump to the deck list, and let's have a proper look. And welcome to the deck list. As you can see, this deck list is actually quite familiar to you. Obviously, most of the shell is from the original Rotom box, because, well, as the old saying goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I've done a few major changes, which were obviously warranted, and obviously we discussed at the end of that video. For example, the Mela with 3 Fire Energy. I ended up going with 3, because then I have another Crispin target, plus, you know, I can still play Psychic and Lightning, because that way we can still attack with Rotom EX where possible. But otherwise, not a huge amount has changed. I haven't added in any Buddy Puffins to obviously, you know, accommodate for the 60 HP Rotoms and the 70 HPs. Psyduck will obviously benefit from that, so maybe you could cut down the Nest Ball to 2 and play Quad Puffin. What that would mean is, though, you'd want to lean more into the 60 HP Psychic Rotom, just so you have access to it. But other than that, not really much has changed here. The only other thing I would want to add is, of course, a Vessel, an Earthen Vessel of some degree, but so far, not really needed it, because a lot of the time I don't prize my Turbo Energize, and even then I either start with energy in hand, or I happen to have a Crispin for the next turn. So of course we're playing 2 Psychic Rotoms, 1 Lightning Rotom, 2 Rotom EXs, 2 Heat Rotoms, 2 Mow Rotoms, 1 Wash Rotom, 1 Psyduck, 1 Lillie's Clefairy as our Pokemon. We're not playing a lot of Pokemon, but we're also not playing a Fez, which you could also put in here. But obviously, this is mainly a single prize archetype. We want to keep it that way where possible. Obviously, we do need the Rotom EX to obviously hit the higher numbers where required. But that's only in an emergency. We don't really have to bench this in, you know, single prize matchups. But ultimately, this is just something to consider. So, of course, we're playing 4 Lillies, 3 Arven, 2 Crispin, 2 Boss, 1 Mela, which, of course, because I don't think I've ever covered this card, although it is rotating, sadly. You can only use this card if any of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn. Attach a basic Fire Energy card from your discard pile to one of your Pokemon. If you do, draw cards until you have 6 cards in your hand. Think of it as a Timu Raihan, if those of you remember Raihan. It's obviously not one where you obviously, you know, find a card that you want. and obviously it has to be a specific energy. But this is a really good card, and well, like I said in the previous Rotom Box video, I think this is a really underrated card. Then of course we have 4 gear, 4 Nest Ball, 1 Poké Pad, 1 Treasure Tracker as our ace spec, which of course lets us grab 5 tool cards, 1 Counter Catcher, 1 Super Rod, 1 Night Stretcher, 4 EXP Shear, 4 Brave Bangle, 2 Air Balloon, 2 Lucky Helmet. This is another card that I wanted to add into the original. I've added 2 copies of this. If the Pokemon this card is attached to is in the active spot and is damaged by an attack from your opponent's Pokemon, even if it's knocked out, you draw 2 cards. This is just extra consistency, because obviously we mainly only have 80, 70, 60 HP Pokemon, and we're not playing Bravery Charms. I don't think you need to play Bravery Charms as long as you're playing, you know, the Stadium that we are and the Psyduck. You could also play a Shaman, but that's your decision. Then of course we have 1 Turbo Energize, 2 Battle Cage, which is a huge upgrade for this deck, 3 Fire, 3 Psychic, 2 Lightning. This is a really fun deck, and whilst it does have a couple of flaws, it's nothing major for a single prize archetype. You know, it gets gatekept by pull, which pretty much every single prize deck does at this point, unfortunately. But this is just something you have to consider, you know, like, are you willing to take a loss to pull? Which, to be honest, given the meta share and the fact that pull is definitely not going away post-rotation, yeah, we will unfortunately have to take that L. But honestly, that I can live with, and even then we can still put up a fight with Lillie's Clefairy and of course this new Psychic Rotom, which of course, you know, is a double colourless, not a Psychic and a colourless. So technically it's easy to get that Rotom powered up. But anyway, let's get into a match, and let's see how we do. And welcome to the first game. We're paired up against someone in Gyarados rank. I've not touched the ladder since the Mega Kangaskhan Joltik, because I don't really get much time at the minute. Like for example, this video is due to go out on Friday, and it's Wednesday today. I've literally not had time to record it, so, you know, that's the joys of life, unfortunately. Hopefully I should be hearing back about a job that I've applied for recently. So, as some of you may or may not know, I currently work in retail, and I've been looking to, obviously, you know, escape retail. And so far it's been not too bad, you know, like, it's been going well, which is the good thing. Okay, well, we do have an Arven in hand, so I'm going to bench you. I'm not gonna attach this, but I am gonna attach this, and I will pass. This hand's not looking great, though, I will say, because ideally I would want, you know, I'd want something a bit more, you know, usable here. I mean, we can Turbo Energize and get some energy into play, but hopefully our opponent is not doing a huge amount. And it's just a Dark Energy, they're going to play an Arven, that's fine. Trolley Turbo Energize, okay, this may be Mega Box, which could be tough for us. Because obviously the Monkey Dories are one of the more troublesome cards for us. Because obviously if we're not one-shotting their Megas, stuff like that, which we can take out obviously the Absol with the Mow Rotom. We can take out the Latias pretty easily as well. But it's one of those, like, we need to be one-shotting things like the Mega Absol, but we don't want to be hitting the Kang if we can avoid it. Interestingly enough, though, they are going for the Kang draw there, which, obviously, they've already attached for turn to that Monkey Dory, so unless they have Energy Switch, which they happen to do so, they are able to get their Turbo Energize off, which is good for them, but, you know, that was a use of resources, which, shouldn't you just waited to go into the Kang, you know, like, it wouldn't have been a major deal. And looks like they're already preparing to threaten Claw of Darkness, which is not good for us. Well, there's the Psychic Rotom, so that's good. So let's go for the Arven. Do I want to thin some tools out now? I don't think I do. I mean, I need to grab Turbo Energize to obviously get some energy into play. I think I just grab a Nest Ball, because that way I can start powering up multiple things. But my main worry is, of course, because we don't play an Earthen Vessel, we could potentially be in trouble. But then again, we do have the Night Stretcher, so it's not a big deal. So let's go for the Nest Ball, grab ourselves a Mow. I'll attach Turbo Energize. I'm going to attach Lillie's Pearl to the Psychic Rotom, just so we have an extra tool. And we will Turbo Energize, thin out these. I'll go... Because I don't want to put it all on the Mow and make it seem like I can kill him with Mow. I'm just going to split it like that. That might lead to my downfall, because obviously we will need to attack with Mow Rotom this turn. But hopefully it doesn't. Let's see. Because obviously they'll need an energy, and they'll also need a gust for the Mow Rotom. And plus we need... How many tools will we need? We will need... 5 tools in play to one-shot that Absol with Mow Rotom. It is possible. And they do Lilies, so no gust. That's good for us. So let's hopefully deal with that. They're going to run errand again. That's fine. Like I say, our main target this game... Okay, there's Charm, so we need 6 now, not 5. The main worry for this matchup is, of course, the fact that, you know, they've now got a Claw of Darkness, so they're probably going to take that Arven. They could also take the boss, but I don't think that's going to be what they choose. They're probably just going to go for the Arven, because Arven gets me a lot more than what boss will. And yep, that's exactly what I feared. Alright, well, we've got to hope for a miracle, because otherwise this is going to be a very short game, let's put it that way. That is a Lilies. That is pretty good. I'm going to shuffle back those energy, or the energy in the Heat Rotom. And we'll Lilies. Great top deck. Okay, that doesn't really get us anywhere, I'll be honest. Because how much damage we're doing? We're doing 120. I can do that. Yeah, we're not really doing a lot, I'll be honest. I'm gonna attach to the end or the Mow Rotom. See, at least they don't have energies on their monkeys, but that doesn't exactly give me much in the way of hope. I don't want to mention the Rotom EX. I would just Gadget Show for 120. Yeah, we're not in a good position here. As like, yeah, we do have Grass Weakness into this Mega Absol. But obviously they can start putting pressure on our 60 HP Pokemon with, of course, you know, Monkey Dory. If we can find ourselves a Battle Cage, we will be in a much better position. But even then, we are losing Mow Rotom. We are losing potentially this Lilies. There's another Charm. Yeah, this is not looking good. This is definitely not looking good. The only way in which we kill this Absol now is if we have 7 tools in play, which we could do, but we'd need Arven, Treasure Tracker, and, you know, they don't Monkey Heal. Otherwise we'd need 8, and they're just going to go for the Claw of Darkness. Let's see what they get rid of. Because Clefairy's not a threat to them, not in this instance anyway. They're probably just going to get rid of the Lilies, which is probably the best solution for them. So obviously we do have energy, which is fine. We do have the energy. And of course the Mow Rotom will give one of its energies to the Rotom. And yeah, they're getting rid of the Lilies. So I'm going to put the Lightning on the Lightning Rotom. And I'm going to promote the Psychic Rotom. Let's see what we can do here. Well, there's an energy. We do need that. So let's do that. Pokégear. We do get the Arven. Does that get us the knockout? Treasure Tracker, yeah, it does. So Arven, Treasure Tracker, plus Bangle, because Bangle makes it a bit easier. So we need less tool commitment. So how much damage we're doing? We need to do 210. So let's bench the Clefairy, Treasure Tracker, grab all these out of the deck. 1, 2, 3. I think that's enough. 210, that's exactly enough. Gadget Show for 210. Take out the Absol for 3 prizes. That is exactly what we needed to get back in this game. Thank you, Pokégear. That's what it's for you. Obviously, the Kang is not a threat to us right now, but eventually it will be. And obviously, the Monkey Dories are a threat to us, but hopefully we can, you know, start to work on them. Obviously, I'm not going to be attaching any energy to this Rotom. I'm going to be Nest Balling for another Rotom, I think. Would probably be our best solution. There's Yveltal, which could be a problem for us. But obviously, we can now go for Latias if we do manage to find a Gusting card, which would be pretty nice. They're going to Night Stretcher, grab themselves a Dark Energy. They're going to get the Dark Energy onto the Yveltal. They're going to Counter Catcher, bring up who? Because all of my Pokemon can attack eventually. Let's see what they do, because, like I say, I could attack with Clefairy, I could attack with Rotom, so I can deal with this Yveltal. Let's see what they do. They're going to bring up the Rotom EX. That's fine. Because the only problem is, though, is we only play 2 Lightning Energies, so we can't actually attack with this Rotom right now. But there's the Iono, but that's fine. Okay, there's Battle Cage, there's Lilies, and a Fire Energy. I could maybe bluff them by attaching to the Rotom, because obviously we only play 2 Lightning, and they're both in play right now. And they're just going to clutch, try and buy themselves some time. Okay. Let's see if my bluff works, I guess. So I'll attach to the Rotom, I'm going to put down the Battle Cage, and I'm going to Lilies. Okay. Nothing too relevant here, but I can bench the Heat and put Bangle on it, and then pass. Like I said, I could bluff them into thinking that I obviously have the attack with, you know, this Rotom EX, but they obviously don't know how many Lightning Energy I'm playing. They don't know if I'm playing a way to get extra energy into play, like Crispin. Maybe that could be our source of a bluff. Fire Energy, so that means they've got a Moltres in that list. Okay, that could be a problem. Obviously, with Clutch, we cannot retreat, and we don't play a way to play around Clutch, so fingers crossed. I think they're trying to buy time for their Kang to be powered up. They're going to Counter Catcher again, interestingly enough, and they're going to bring up the Heat Rotom this time. I'm not really sure why they're wasting so many Gusting cards for this sort of tactic. You know, like, unless they want to sit here the whole game, I'm happy to do that, but they probably not. I could play the Crispin and, like, bait them into it. We should. Do we have a Fire left? No. We only have Psychic left in deck now. So that's Gear. There's Mela. I'm going to take the Mela for now. I'll play Crispin just so I can get an energy into my hand, and I'm going to bluff them into thinking that I have more energy. Looks like that's not working. It's okay. I'll be honest, I'd rather set up my attackers than, you know, hope I can find the last Psychic, but I'm going to do this anyway, just so I have the option. Because obviously, Heat Rotom can attack. All of my Rotoms can attack. But yeah, I think they're just stalling to try and get their Kang online, because they must think that Kang is going to win them this game. Whilst that isn't a bad idea, the problem is obviously Kang, you know, I only need to kill Latias plus a Monkey, or this Yveltal, and I win. So they can use their bosses and CCs all they like, you know. I'm not really forced. It's more interesting that they're playing 2 Counter Catchers in that list, but obviously this card rotates soon. They're going to attach to the Kang again. And they're going in with a Kang. That means they probably have Gust. Which is bad news for the Rotom EX, let's put it that way. Because if he does, then Rotom EX is obviously our main source of, you know, engine. If that's the word I would use. Rotom obviously allows us to, you know... He's going for the Clefairy. He's not Red Rotom. Okay, that's fine. That's completely fine. Obviously, we will need to potentially hit 300 this turn, which is possible, but it's not going to be easy. They're going to bounce the Stadium, which is good, because that's an extra card out my hand. This is going to be close. They're going to Rapid Fire combo, take out the Clefairy, with no need for a heads, but, well... you might want to save your coin flip luck for later, matey. But, anyway. This is close. This is very close. We're going to promote the Psychic Rotom, because obviously it does have a Bangle on it. Which obviously could make the difference. There's also the Lily's Pearl on it, but, well, that's not relevant. It would have been relevant if it was on that Clefairy, but, well, I wasn't exactly planning for having to bench multiple 2 prizes. So, we need 10 tools in play on our boys to take this out. And I don't think we're going to get there. So let's Air Balloon you. Battle Cage there. Heat Rotom. Mela. So we're going to attach there, draw 5. I don't think that's enough. No, that's 240. We can hit it, but obviously if they have Gust for game on the Rotom, we lose. Because Battle Cage will protect us from Monkey, which is nice. I mean, I could get a second Rotom EX out, just in case they try anything. I could attach to... Safest bet would be the Heat Rotom. I'll Gadget Show for 240. If they have Gust for game, they have it, but I'm hoping they don't. Because obviously we don't have Fighting Weakness into Kang, which would be really nice. If they have the Gust for game, that's just unfortunate. But obviously they don't know we have it in hand, so if they don't have a way to take us out this turn, what's the chance of playing a boss? Pretty high. They're going to Vessel. Get rid of a Pokégear. You really should have kept that if you're digging for boss, my friend. There's some dark energies coming down. The only way in which they win now, though, is if they don't find a boss, they can double Monkey, but they need to play 2 energy switch, which I don't know if this list plays. This particular one, because I think this is Tord's list. So let's see. Because we could still win this, obviously, with Heat Rotom bossing the Kangaskhan for game. But obviously, I don't know if, you know, they're going to get there. They've already committed a lot of resources, so I'm kind of hoping they haven't got it. There's Monkey. But Monkey doesn't save this Kang. Kang dies to the Heat Rotom if, you know, I can get there. There's Adrenabrain. I don't know if they have it, but we'll soon find out. Battle Cage is in play, so that does nothing. That's completely fine. Obviously, the 20 from earlier is Risky Ruin, and that's why the Heat Rotom has 20 on it. Which is fine, but yeah, unless they, you know, unless they bounced the Battle Cage or find boss of this run errand, we win. I don't think they have it. Because if they did, they'd have already done it. So let's see. Because like I say, if they retreat this Kang, I can boss for game on the Yveltal. And it seems they don't have it. So they're just going to clutch to the Rotom, try and chain us in. But unfortunately, my friend, I do have the boss for that Kangaskhan. And we will Gadget Show 240, take out the Kangaskhan, and take game against Mega Box. I will admit that was a bit squeaky bum time, but thankfully he didn't see the play of obviously, you know, Adrenabraining to the Rotom in the active, then clutching it for the knockout, and going from there, but hey, I'll take that win. Let's go to game 2. Oh, welcome back to game 2. Sorry about the, well, I would say sorry about the delay, but, well, you didn't know that, because obviously I edited it. After that match, I had to go down and get a drink, because my throat is dying. It's only 8:30 in the morning, so that kind of makes sense. Normally I'm not up early on my days off, but sadly, my body clock is buggered. Let's go first, because I can hopefully, you know, get set up a little bit. Let's see. Plus I can get the first energy down, which would be nice. Okay, we do start on Mow Rotom. That'll be nice. I do like the Copper Raja sleeves, but I suspect we are facing Copper Raja. If that's the case, I'm going to be turboing out some... let's put it this way. I'm going to be turboing out some thingamabobs, some Heat Rotoms, because they're going to be our friends in this matchup, if that's the case. Oh, Cornerstone, but luckily we don't have to worry about him. That's a good draw. Let's bench the second Mow Rotom. I'm going to grab a Heat. I'll do a proper prize check when I Nest Ball, don't worry, because it will make up for the fact I did not prize check last game. I'm going to grab a Psychic Rotom, just to make sure. I have prized a Rotom EX, that could be ugly if it comes to it. Obviously, we only play 3 Arvens, that's fine. We've prized 1 of these because we have 1 in hand. We have prized 1 Nest Ball, so that's fine. We've prized a Gear, which I can live with. We've prized a... not an EXP share, so that's good. Otherwise, we have prized the Lucky Helmets, but That's okay. In before Joe realizes that potentially he didn't even put the what is it, the Lucky Helmets in. Do I want to play this battle cage down? Don't think so. Yeah, I won't bother. Not yet, anyway. Because obviously we can threaten this cornerstone immediately, which is nice. Knowing my luck, though, I probably did forget to, you know, put in the Lucky Helmets and... Ooh! Ooh! Ooh, this could be game. Hold on. Oh, this is most definitely game off the Lilies. So if we do that, battle cage, Lilies for 8. I think that's game. Attach. Bangle, that should be it. Yeah, 240. Take out the cornerstone. I'll take that, because then that means I can address the deck error, because I believe I'm correct. Either way, it proves that the deck can run without the Lucky Helmet, so I just put them in for the sake of it. Let me go sort that deck list error, and I'll see you in Game 3. And I did check the deck, and sure enough, I did not have the Lucky Helmets in there, but... Well, as we saw in Game 1, it would have helped, but it didn't hugely matter. And obviously Game 2 was a donk, so I can't really, like, say if it would help or not. Turned out that it was a control deck with, like, Knackly, Corner, etc. So that could have been a potential issue, but I'd have literally just put down the Rotoms that we attack with and only put down the ones that we need. I'm going to go second this time, because I actually want to use Roto Call. That'd be pretty nice. But yeah, I do apologise for the decklist error. It's the first time I've actually done a decklist error like that, but, you know, these things happen at the end of the day. And we have a mulligan from our opponent. It is Dawnzard with a Togekiss line? That's going to be a problem. Because, for those that don't know, if you trigger a Dusknoir onto the active Pokemon, Togekiss does trigger, so yeah, we need to be careful of that. 4 mulligans, though, we will definitely take. Oh no, it's even worse. It's a Tatsugiri box. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. They're just going to attach. Crystal. Oh boy, I'm actually quite concerned now, but... Well, that's why we're going to play what we are. So, we're going to Rotom. We've prized, let's see. We've not prized any Rotoms, that's good. We've got all the Rotom boys in here. However, we have prized our Psyduck, which is problematic, to say the least. Because we're going to need that in this matchup, folks. But don't worry about it, we'll deal with it later. I'm going to Battle Cage in advance, just in case. I can Bangle to you. I can attach to you. I'll retreat into the Psychic Rotom, and we will Roto Call. So since I saw Charizard DX, I'm going to grab a couple of Mows. I'm going to grab the Psychic the Lightning Rotom, just in case. And in case they have the Mega, I'm going to grab the Wash Rotom. Let's get the boys down. Yeah, you're not the only one who can Cinnabar Lure. I mean, technically, Rotom isn't a Cinnabar Lure attack, but... You know, it's something to think about. That's a problem. That they bounced that. And there's Iono. That's fine. As long as we find an energy, I'm not really bothered. We did not find an energy, but we do get a Lilies, so that is completely fine. There's the Dark Energy, so they are going to get the Cinnabar Lure off. And there's the Cinnabar Lure. Let's see what they do. Well, let's see what they get, because it's top 10, and they get to put any Pokemon that they find there onto their bench. So I'm kind of hoping that, you know, it's not a problem. But hopefully they don't find too many Dusknoirs, because then we could be in with a problem. On the plus side... Oh, that's a rough-looking board. Oh, Blaze, I'm glad I did get the Wash Rotom down then. Okay, well, EXP share you immediately. We're going to get you down as well. We'll get the Wash down. Why did he put Charizard down? Charizard doesn't, you know, I'm not going to question it. We will take advantage of this town store, though. That I will say. So we'll set a Bangle, because the Bangles help us later. We'll put that on the Wash, and we will Lilies. I was going to say we'll put this on a cycle of 40 minutes, but unless you do, like, washing in your own home or something like that, that's a joke that kind of falls flat. I don't need double Air Balloon, so I'll just put it there. We need an energy on this to take the knockout. and we will Gadget Shove 270. Take out the Tatsu. Obviously, this does mean that Blaziken can come in and start doing some serious damage. There's our Psyduck, but I think it's a little bit too late for that, Chief. Because they have Double Dusk, and they have a Blaziken ready to go, which is a major concern for us. They're promoting a Charizard, interestingly enough, which that's not the attacker I thought you'd go with, but, you know, that's something, I guess, because Lucky Helmet is damaged by an attack. Yeah, it is, so it doesn't trigger off a Dusknoir. There's Crispin, so they do have to attack with this Charizard if they wish to do so. Do we have... No, we don't have it on this, but that's fine. We could potentially dig for this. And to be fair, I'm probably going to boss one of the Blazikens anyway. That's probably going to be my battle plan. Unless they literally just double Dusk Charizard and then hope I can't do anything. Seething Spirit. So they're charging up a Blaziken. This card, by the way, I think is going to be pretty good post-rotation. That's just my opinion. See, the thing is, if they blow up Double Dusk, all I literally need to do is, you know, swing into the Charizard for game or swing into the Blaziken for game. They really shouldn't have put this down. I know for a fact this sort of deck plays Charmeleon. He should have put that down first. There's Counter Catcher, so he's going for the Rotom EX. Is he going for a full prize turn? Because if so, that's going to get very ugly. It's going to get pretty ugly, folks. I'm not going to, like, beat around the bush. It doesn't help that we prize our Psyduck. And yeah, here comes the Curse Blast. Let's see what they hit. Because obviously it will not trigger the EXP shares as it's not by damage. Okay, well hopefully we get a Crispin. That's a Poké Pad. That's not going to be too helpful. That is fine. Are they going to trigger the second one? Because they could, but then I could respond with, you know, Mow Rotom Crispin if it comes to it. Let's see what they do. What are they going to take out? Because they really should be focusing on the Mow Rotoms, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to take out the one with the Air Balloon. That is fine. I need a Crispin. That's not it, Chief. That's not it. That's not it. This is not looking good. This is a really cool deck, though, I will say. And, of course, there's the Burning Darkness for 300 damage. And a knockout. I'm just trying to think. Do I want to promote this Wash Rotom? It doesn't really matter. I'm probably just going to give him the Lightning Rotom. I'm going to get rid of the Bangle off the Wash, because obviously, for those that don't know, if the Rotom EX goes down, I have to discard. Okay, well, there's an energy, so that's fine. Let's Town Store, because I think I have an idea. You only have one tool attached, don't you? But then again, that's a high risk if they have Boss, which I would assume, given their deck list, they will. I'm going to attach to the Mow. I can boss the chicken, stall them out, maybe? That could be an option. I'm just thinking here. Let's Nest Ball, see if we can thin the deck a little bit more. Well, we at least have the second Rotom EX this time, so that's good. I'm going to thin the Heat Rotom, just so we have it. I'll thin the Psyduck as well. I'm just trying to think of what to do here, to be honest, folks. Like I said, I'm tempted to boss the Blaziken, which would probably help us a little bit, because then we can stall him. Because obviously all of their energy is in play right now, so I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to stall them. I think that's my best option. The only way in which this doesn't work out is obviously if they have Crispin in hand, which is a high chance, but I'd rather them have Crispin than a boss. They're with the gear. I should have attached to the Wash Rotom, but obviously I didn't know I was going to do this play until now. Okay, there's the Crispin, so they're going to get the attack off with this Blaziken EX. That's a problem, but we will deal with it. What that does mean is we could have game with CC, which I think was in deck. I'll be honest, I didn't exactly look. Just trying to think, do we have enough tools to do it, though? There's a water, so yeah, they do have the knockout with this Blaziken. Obviously, we didn't have any energy on that Rotom, so that's where that is not going to help. Alright. Mow Rotom, you need to bring us a miracle, buddy. Well, there's a Lillie's, but that's not going to help us right now. So, do I have potential game here? Well, I need to do that. I need 6 tools in play, and I don't think I can do it. I can get to 5, but then they just win with Charizard EX. Let me check the deck first. See if we can potentially get there. So there's that. In fact, no, we can just grab a Bangle, can't we? We just grab a Bangle and then that solves that problem. But then again, because we don't have a Rotom EX down... Right, okay, let's have a look first. So we don't have CC, so I need to stop coping. That's the polite way of putting it. So that means then, hold on. Can I do it? I might be able to. Hold on. Arven, Treasure Tracker, EXP Share. Can I do it? Can I hit 300? I don't think I can. I don't think I can. So hold on. No, I can't do it. Only way... Then again, no, they just attack with... They just retreat this and attack with anything else. Yeah, I don't think I can win here, folks, unfortunately. I just don't have the resources. I could have obviously grabbed back the Rotom EX or, like, Nest Ball for one, but it's not going to matter at this point. I'm going to play it anyway, because why not? So, attach to you. Bench you. I'm just going to play that. I mean, I'm only doing 180, but we lose anyway. Even if I did grab back that Rotom EX, we would have still lost. So I'm just going to swing with the Gadget Show for 180. The problem is as well, it's because they dusted all the way a good bunch of our tools. That is what stopped us from winning this. But I'm just going to concede. And also the fact that I didn't power up the Wash Rotom. But anyway, I'm going to let them have their swing. I should have obviously powered up the Wash Rotom, but I wasn't to know they were going to start attacking with the Blazekins. Nor was I to know that we was going to use that box strategy. So I could have won if it was for that, but it's okay. It's not a big deal. We might as well flex a little bit further with our EXP shares, but unfortunately that is a loss to Tatsugiri Box. The fact that we prize our Psyduck as well is another thing that is just really tough for us. But, you know, we put up a decent fight, you know? Like, we didn't go down without a fight, which is the important thing. But had I known that they were going to start swinging with their Blazekins more, I could have potentially gone for game with the Wash Rotom. But it's not a big deal at the end of the day. I'm not too worried about it. We could have had game with the Wash Rotom onto one of the Blazekins. But obviously, I kind of catch it was in the prize cards, which definitely didn't help with that. So, what do I think to the deck? I think this is a good upgrade, you know. Battle Cage, Psyduck, the Mela definitely put in some work as well. Which obviously helped out with, you know, the Kangaskhan matchup. It's a shame we didn't get to use Mela in this gameplay, well, in the third game, but it's fine. Otherwise, there's not really a lot you need to change, you know? Like, I think a couple of Buddy Poffins would probably be best suited. Upping the 60 HP Rotoms, like the, you know, the Psychic, the 60, 70 HP Rotoms is what I mean. So the Mow Rotom, the Psychic Rotom, the regular Rotom, and keep... I think, honestly, you could cut down to 1 Heat, because then you could also make a bit more room. The Clefairy, I think you need to keep in case of Dragons, especially Mega Dragonite. That's going to be a tough matchup if you don't get, obviously, set up. Because, obviously, they are going to use, if they play it, they're going to use the Mega Eel and start causing havoc. Shaman could obviously be a consideration card if you are worried about Dragonite with its backup Mega Eel attacker. But other than that, really, there's not a huge amount that I would say that needs to be added to this deck. It's a deck that, you know, doesn't really need to change much, and I think the Mela engine is just the best way. You could go up to 2 Mela, but obviously with Mela rotating, I don't think it's a good idea to obviously get into the mindset of, you know, I should rely on Mela to do this, that, and the other. But other than that, really, I'm pretty happy with this deck list and how it did, even though we did obviously have the deck list error with the Lucky Helmets not being present. But even with that, the deck still ran pretty good, and obviously, you know, these changes, I think, would just open up the list a little bit more. Obviously, post-rotation, you're probably going to have to move to a Buddy Poffin Poké Pad approach, with obviously a couple of Ultra Ball to obviously find your Rotom EXs, the Lillie's Clefairy, you know, things like that. But to be honest, this list can more than accommodate for it. The only major thing I would be worried about is obviously draw power. At that point, you could consider a Fez, but then you're putting 4 2 prizes into a deck that's meant to be single prize. But anyway, obviously, as I said, Battle Cage did try to put in some work, but obviously the opponents always had the Stadium Bump, which was a bit unfortunate. And while Psyduck is a good card, because as you saw in that game, we kind of needed it, but unfortunately, he was sitting pretty in the prize cards. But anyway, I'm going to leave you to it for today. I really hope you enjoyed seeing Rotom Box 2.0 in action, and I'll see you next time.